Hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to part 13. Yes, it says there. Part 13 of my series. My thoughts on every episode of classic Star Trek, not the new stuff. Just from the original series all the way up to Enterprise. And we're up to Deep Space Nine Season 2. I finally finished watching Season 2 of Deep Space Nine today. So we're going to go through every episode of that. But before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. Just let me check my audio because StreamYard has been playing up. So you'll hear my voice in a minute, I hope. I just hope, I'm loud enough. Bear with me. Bear with me. Yes, I am. Yeah, right, you can hear me. Right, okie dokie. Right, so before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. We're live on YouTube, I hope. Well, yeah, because I've just seen myself. We're live on YouTube. We should be live on Rumble. Just refresh that bugger. And we're live on Twitch as well as. Yes, we're live on Rumble. Yeah. Right, so, where were we? I explore the description for links such as merch, such as this smashing t-shirt design with the USS Alcide. My books, they're underneath stuff. Then Amazon Kindle and paperback. And links from my other websites, my Spotify and stuff. Amazon Music links, stuff like that. What else? Become a member, and then you get exclusive videos on YouTube. Then you get exclusive videos and early access videos, etc. What else? Super chats and super thanks would be greatly appreciated if you can afford that sort of stuff. And what else? I think that's about it, isn't it? Right, we'll get on with this season 2 of Deep Space Nine. I've got out. I don't know if you can see it. It's up there. I don't know if you can make it out. Got my Deep Space Nine out. It's up there. Look, blue tacked to me soundbar next to me Stargate and the Death Star. But yes, so there we go. And as I were getting it down, it was a bit higher up on the shelf where you couldn't see it. And as we're getting it down, one of the pylons broke off. Unbelievable. I managed to get it back on just in time. Just in the nick of time, Chief O'Brien worked round the clock. Worked his crews round the clock to get that pylon fixed. Right, okie dokie. Right, we'll begin. We'll get on with this. Season 2 of Deep Space Nine. Season 1 didn't end on a cliffhanger. I can't actually remember how Season 1 ended. I genuinely can't remember. I don't think it ended on a cliffhanger. But we begin. Here we go. I'm sorry. I'm not watching it on Netflix, but there isn't much difference between the Netflix quality and what's on the DVDs, which I've got up there. I can actually see them from here. They're there. They're not behind something for once. But anyway. So the first 3 episodes, it's a 3-parter. The first 3 episodes are Homecoming, The Circle, and The Siege, and it's all about Bajoran politics. Look, aliens. It's all about Bajoran, internal Bajoran politics and all that stuff. And what happens? A chap arrives. Kira gets a message that there's still Bajoran prisoners at a Cardassian work camp. So she goes to rescue them, and one of them is a super famous resistance leader. There she is, going to rescue them. Whose name I can't remember. I've forgotten his name. Let me have a look. Does it say? It doesn't say there. Excuse me. What's his name? Lee Nallis. That's it. Lee Nallis. She's gone to rescue Lee Nallis, who was like a hero of the resistance during the Cardassian occupation. So anyway, so they rescue him, bring him back to the station, and everybody's infatuated with him because he's this war hero from the occupation, but he doesn't want to be. There's a story that he killed this Cardassian captain, a Gull, in single combat, and he says it was essentially an accident. He fell down a hill, came across this Cardassian washing himself in the lake. So just in his underwear, and he shot him, and that was it. He doesn't like being the hero, but he's got to live with that accolade, I suppose. There he is. That's Lee Nallis. There's Major Kira. But stuff's going on Bajor, and it's kind of, there's a group called the Circle, which are kind of like an extremist group that just want Bajor for Bajorans. So they're wanting all non-Bajorans to leave. So that's what happens. And I say in the second episode, things come to a head. This is Frank Langella. I always used to pronounce it Langella. I've heard other people pronounce it Langella. Does it matter? I've never heard him say it, so I don't know. He'd know, wouldn't he? Dracula from the 1979 Dracula film, and other stuff, and Skeletor as well. And you're in that amazing film, The Box. I love that film, even though I haven't got it. Oddly enough, I don't think. I might have. I don't know. I've not got it on Blu-ray. I might have it on DVD somewhere. He's in that as well. Anyway, he plays a minister. Is it Minister Jarrow? Something like that, isn't it? So anyway. So things are coming to a head on Bajor, and what happens? Kira has been reassigned. They're making Lee Nallis Commander Sisko's new number one, second in command, and they've sent Kira back to Bajor to be reassigned, and she doesn't know what to do with herself, so she goes to this monastery. This is where we're introduced to Vedek Bareil. Or did we meet him? No, did we meet him last season? Or am I thinking of an episode from this season? Whatever, Vedek Bareil, and they fall in love and all that, and they have an ongoing relationship for quite some time. And Kai Win, it's not Kai yet, is she? Spoilers. Vedek Win Adami, who's one of the best villains in Deep Space Nine, but she thinks she's a goodie, but she's super evil. But anyway, she's there as well. This is a Bajoran general who's tasked by the provisional government essentially to take over Deep Space Nine. That's what they're going to do. We learned that Minister Jarrow is behind the Circle. They're being armed by Cardassians, but they don't know it because they're going through intermediaries. But Cardassians are trying to undermine, the Bajoran government, and and it ends with Deep Space Nine being reclaimed by the Bajorans, and all the Starfleet personnel have to leave. So that's what happens in the siege. So the the Bajorans take over the station, but some people left behind, including Sisko and all that, that are hiding in the conduits. Can't call them Jeffries tubes because it's not a Starfleet ship, is it? It's a Cardassian station. So they're hiding in the conduits and stuff, and they're going to try and make life as difficult as possible for the baddie Bajorans. Anyway, so that's what happens, and obviously they end up proving that proving to the Bajoran government that the Cardassians are essentially behind the Circle and arming the Circle and all that, and things end up back to normal by the end, and it's a good three-parter. It is a good three-part with some exciting stuff and some daring do and all that, and people that you think are baddies that are not really baddies, such as this fella, this general, who ends up doing the right thing. Lee Nallis ends up giving his life to save Sisko at the end, because there he is. Because hang on, let's find it. He's going to do it in a minute. Because one of the here he goes. One of the general's aides wants to kill Sisko. And there you go. Lee Nallis leaps onto the gun and obviously dies. Dies a hero's death. So there we go. I think he dies. Yes, he does. Anyway, so there we go. That's it. A good 3-parter, that. Homecoming, The Circle, and The Siege. Really good stuff. Right. So and then we move on to more usual fare. Not playing, is it? No, it is playing. Right. With episode 4, which is invasive procedures. This is kind of, I don't know, it kind of reminds me a bit like of a TNG episode, or even a Enterprise episode, which is obviously later. But where the station has to be evacuated because of a plasma storm. How would a plasma storm affect the wormhole? Don't know, but I don't know if they mention that. But they've got to evacuate everybody, or most of the people, but there's a skeleton crew remaining behind to look after things on the station. And Quark's one of them, although he doesn't want to be. He ends up being left behind. Because I think they've been selling the seats on the shuttles. But anyway, a ship docks, and there's bad people on board. They're like mercenaries. And here we are with what's his name? The actor, John Glover. John Glover plays a Trill, and he wants to steal the Dax symbiont because he failed to become. What they call it? He was in the symbiont program, and it failed to be nominated. It didn't make it through to get a symbiont. So he's just going to steal Dax because he thinks the Dax symbiont is the one the most compatible with him. So he's like hired some mercenaries and stuff to help him, and he realizes that will kill Jadzia Dax, but he doesn't seem to care. But there he is. But anyway. She's kind of in love with him for whatever reason, but anyway, they do take the Dax symbiont out and put it in him, and obviously he changes because when you have a symbiont put in, it does change your personality somewhat. So he kind of forgets about her, sort of. So she turns against him, and they take the symbiont back out of him and put it back into Dax. And everything's back to normal by the end. It's a whatever. It's a whatever episode. It's okay. It's not terrible, but it's a filler. it's not great, but it's not rubbish either. It passes the time. That's what I'd say for that one. Moving on to the next episode, which is, I've got to check because I can't bloody remember. Episode 5 is Cardassians. This is one with the Cardassian kids who don't want to be Cardassians. They've been brought up on Bajor like Cardassian orphans, and some of them do have family on Cardassia, and it turns out one of them is the son of a high-ranking Cardassian, and he thought his son had been killed, but he was raised in an orphanage. But he don't want to be Cardassian. What's the B story? Is there a B story? No, it doesn't say. Can't remember. But he doesn't want to be Cardassian. He hates Cardassians, obviously raised by Bajorans who hate Cardassians. He hates Cardassians as well. But his father comes aboard. He stays with Chief O'Brien and his family while they're trying to sort it out. His family, his Cardassian family, and this is a good one for O'Brien, because obviously O'Brien doesn't like Cardassians because he fought in the Federation Cardassian War. He witnessed the Setlik 3 massacre and all that stuff. So he's not a fan of Cardassians, which we'll get to at the end of the season. But he takes this young Cardassian lad in, who's called, I'll tell you in a minute, Rugal. He takes him in and makes him welcome in his home, showing that he's a good egg, is O'Brien. Anyway, Garak's helping Dr. Bashir, sussing out what's going on with these kids. Anyway, so here he is. This is the Cardassian who was Rugal's father, but obviously Rugal doesn't want anything to do with him. But then, weirdly, by the end, is going to stay with him anyway. They kind of force him, I think. Says, you're going to stay, and it'll be a slow process and all that. And everybody's happy by the end, whatever. But anyway, and there's a bit of Cardassian political intrigue as well, with Gul Dukat. He knew all about these orphans and knew that there were, at least Rugal were from this high Cardassian family, and it were all that political manoeuvring and stuff, and Garak helped bring that out into the open. But anyway, there we go, off they go. Off they go. Another okay episode. Not amazing, but as I said, like the previous one, it passed the time. I'd probably skip it. If I were just watching that season 2, I'd probably skip that episode, to be completely honest. But that's just me. Right, next up. What's next episode called? It's another one that I'd probably skip, to be completely honest. This one's Melora. Ensign Melora Paslar, the first Elasian to join Starfleet, adjusts to normal gravity. This is kind of an episode about disability, I suppose. She comes aboard because she's kind of in a wheelchair, or she's on like crutches or whatever, because Elasians, or whatever they're called, I forgot already. Where is it? Yeah, Elasians. They're from a planet with lower gravity, so like Earth normal gravity is very constrictive to them, and they can't really move in it. So they've got to. There she is. So they've got to, go out of the way to make the station wheelchair friendly, essentially. The Cardassians didn't give them monkeys about disabilities and stuff and access, but Starfleet chaps have got to do all this. But she's a bit cold and a bit standoffish. She's one of these disabled people that says, I don't need help and all that stuff. And a bit rude with it sometimes. And to be honest, I've encountered that myself. When Aidan, my son, who's autistic, were younger, I think it'll have been about, 11, 12, something like that. We were in a shop looking round, and there were a lady in a wheelchair with, I presume, her boyfriend, husband, whatever. She wasn't an old lady, she was, took to be in her 20s or something like that. And Aidan was just curious and being autistic, and he'll talk to anybody. He's not one of these autistic people that are really quiet, because some of them are. He'll just talk to anybody. And he just asked why she were in a wheelchair. And she got right uffy with him. She said, I can't remember exactly. She said, because I've lost use of my legs. And she said it in a uffy way. I says he's just curious. He doesn't mean anything by it. But anyway, maybe, I don't know. I can't imagine a lot of people will ask her about it, will they? But Aidan did. We were taking an interest. They were curious. Anyway, whatever. So she's a bit standoffish, but Julian Bashir, wants to help her, and she's super attractive. It's weird how some of these actresses, they look really attractive when they're done up as aliens, but then when you see photos of them without their alien makeup on, you think, actually quite plain. But anyway, maybe I'm just into aliens, I don't know. But anyway. And what he does, he offers her some sort of surgery or some sort of treatment that'll strengthen her bones and all that, and make her able to operate in normal gravity. But it doesn't work. It all goes wrong. I don't know if there's a B story. I genuinely can't remember. But it kind of it goes wrong, and she decides she's going to go somewhere else. And that's it. Who's this fella? Has he kidnapped Dax? I genuinely can't remember the B story in this one. Because, as I said, it'd be one that I'd skip, because it's not the best. I can't remember who he is. He's up to some shenanigans. But anyway, Melora. Yeah. The Klingon chef fella. He does me head in. He's in a few episodes this season. 2 or 3. He's not bloody singing. It does me nutting. In his stupid clothes. Klingons don't wear clothes like that. He should have armour on, even if he's a chef. And he'd all sing, oh, shut up. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. And there's Morn. I nearly said Norm then. Now, what's the next one after my lord? Rules of Acquisition, a Ferengi one, which isn't bad, is this one. This is the first mention that we get in Deep Space Nine of the Dominion. A race is coming through the wormhole, and Grand Nagus Zek is wanting to do a trade agreement with them. I can't remember what they're called. That last season. No, that's it. Grand Nagus Zek is gonna. He wants Quark to go into the Gamma Quadrant and do a treaty with the Karama, who we see again in season 3, to get the Tulaberry wine or whatever. I don't know. But oh no, it is this one. It's the one with Brian Thompson in, isn't it? I think we'll see. We'll see if it pops up. So that's what he's got to do. So there's the Grand Nagus. Make sure we're going. Yes, we're all right. Where were we? Yeah, because it's giving him all this power to do this as Grand Nagus Zek to Quark. In case he fails, Quark's just the fall guy, because Grand Nagus keeps putting up the amount of Tulaberry wine that he wants. But anyway, he's got an assistant. There we go. He's got a helper. Ends up being an assistant called, I can't remember, is it Pell or something like that? I can't remember. Yes, Pell. It turns out this is a Ferengi female with false ears on, but she's really good at business and all that. And she falls in love with Quark. See, Dax knows all about it. But anyway, off he goes into the Gamma Quadrant to negotiate. There they are, yes, with these. I can't remember what these are called. They're not the Karama, are they? No, it doesn't say. Oh, pardon me. I will look it up because I can't remember. But it's got Brian Thompson in, who you may know as... He played a Romulan in Enterprise. He's been in Star Trek before as well. He played the alien bounty hunter in the X-Files. He's been in loads of stuff. You know his face. Anywho, the Docile, that's what they're called. And they've got painted faces. Hang on. There they are, look. So anyway, so he's working all this out. This is where we hear about the Dominion, who basically are the main power in the Gamma Quadrant. And it's these, the Docile, they don't have enough Tulaberry wine vats or whatever to accommodate what the Grand Nagus wants. And so they said, well, we'll put you in touch with the Karama, but they're part of the Dominion. So anyway, so one thing leads to another. He finds out that Pell is a female. He freaks out because obviously females aren't allowed to take part in business. And they're not allowed to wear clothes. Female Ferengi, that is. So it's all kicking off. And but by the end, it all works out. And Quark sticks up for her in the end, sort of, against Zek. It ends up working out, but he's got to give up his shares of the business in the Gamma Quadrant for her sake. And they do end up kissing at the end. So there we go. But I don't think we ever see her again. They're going to show it. I don't know. There we go. They're kissing, and he gives a little bit of Umax. So anyway, there we go. So that's the end of that one. It's quite a good episode. Usually I'm not a huge fan of Ferengi episodes. Much the same way I'm not a huge fan of the Wuxana Troy episodes, but this one's not too bad. Rules of Acquisition. Anyway, moving on. What's next? Come on, Deep Space Nine, pop up on the screen. Oh, there we go. This is that one, isn't it? Necessary Evil. Quark gets gets shot, and I've no idea who she is, but she's astonishingly gorgeous. Who is she? Who is she? Let me check. Hey, we find that with Bajoran actresses that they cast as Bajorans for some reason they got these gorgeous actresses. Catherine Moffat. No idea. As I said, probably if I search for her, see a normal photo, she probably looks just like a regular girl or woman or whatever. Yeah, she does. But yeah, she's played another alien in Star Trek as well. But as this person, whose name I can't remember, Vatrik Palra, astonishingly gorgeous. But anyway, right, so here we are, stormy night. There she is, look, astonishingly gorgeous. She's having a meeting with Quark. She wants something from the station. She used to run the chemist shop. I think it was the chemist shop. She used to run the shop on the station with her husband, who were murdered and during the occupation. And she left something. There was something hidden behind a panel in the shop that she wants Quark to get. But she won't tell him what it is. But she's going to pay him for it. So off he goes to do that for her. She's a proper MILF, isn't she? Cougar. Anyway, off he goes, and can't blame him. Right, so here we are. So the sneaking now. Him and Rom are sneaking. We learn that Rom's really good at picking locks because Quark often goes, away from the station and doesn't leave his keys or whatever for the storeroom. So Rom's really good at picking locks. Anyway, they find what it is in the behind the panel, and it's just a list of Bajoran names. And this fella appears and shoots Quark at point blank range. There we go. They all run in, and obviously Bashir saves his life. And then we have these little flashbacks of when, basically how Odo ended up becoming the constable, which is a nickname that he's not really comfortable with, but he kind of puts up with it. Everybody calls him Constable. Don't know why. They just do. But anyway, how he became, security officer, because apparently on the station he decided to go and live on Deep Space, Terok Nor, sorry, it was called Terok Nor, wasn't it, back then? He decided to go and live there after they left Dr. What's his face, Mora, something like that. The Bajoran scientist that found him and studied him. He left. I went to live on Terok Nor, and he ended up like mediating disputes and stuff on Terok Nor because he was kind of an outsider, a neutral party, and he ended up being, he was trustworthy and all that. So he ends up working for Gul Dukat, investigating the murder of that woman's husband. Anyway, it turns out the list were a list of collaborators, Cardassian collaborators. I think it was. I think it was collaborators. Yeah, she was bribing them because she'd run out of money or something, and she was bribing these people, this list of names, so that she wouldn't out them as Cardassian collaborators. Anyway, and she's like made an accusation to Kira, and I think in the end it turned out it was Kira that killed her husband. That's what she was sent to the station for, because she was part of the resistance, and he knew he were a collaborator. And so in the end, and there she is as a young Kira, and in the end, we have this little thing where, why didn't you tell me? Because it was like years earlier, and well, I never got round to it, and I don't know if you'll ever trust me again. But he says, well, we can try, and all that stuff. And there we go. It's a decent episode, a good little mystery episode. And there we go. So, yeah, fine. That was Necessary Evil. Because it's the necessary evil being what they've got to do in those stressful times during the occupation when she was a soldier for the resistance. She had to do things that she wasn't proud of. Anywho, next. What's going to come on? Oh, the station. Oh, look, a Nebula class starship. Is this the one? I think this is. Yeah, Second Sight is this one. I'm not a fan of this episode, to be honest. I didn't hate it, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. Cisco kind of falls in love with a mystery woman, and this ship's docked. I think it's the Prometheus. Yeah, this is the Prometheus. Don't know what happened to it because we have another Prometheus later, don't we? In Voyager. We don't know what happened to this one. Anyway, I think they forgot about what we're going with the names. But it's obviously a Nebula class, and Nebula class ships are essentially more or less the same size as a Galaxy class ish. They're like what the Miranda class is to Constitution class, the Nebula class is to Galaxy class. So they're roundabout there's similar crew complement. But for some reason, this one doesn't. Apparently, I don't know. But anyway, there's a scientist on this ship. It's essentially it's been assigned to him. This whole ship. You'd think it'd be given like a no birth class or something, but no. This Nebula class been assigned to this scientist to do whatever he's doing. It's going to reignite a star or something like that using proto-matter, I think. Which is from Star Trek. That's it 3 we first hear it mentioned, but it's to do with the Genesis device, but they don't mention that. And then we meets this mysterious woman. There she is. What's she called? Can't remember. Fenner. Mysterious woman Fenner. Who keeps appearing and disappearing. And later on, in front of him, disappeared. Pardon me. And it's a bit stupid. I don't know. But anyway. I don't know what the B story is on this one. I can't remember. That's the scientist. I don't know his name. I don't really care, to be honest. But he goes for a picnic with her on one of the upper pylons, and he's asking the questions, and he asks too many questions as he goes running off. And it turns out they're invited to dinner on the Prometheus, and it turns out his wife, there she goes, is Fenner, except she's not called Fenner, she's called something else, which I can't remember. Nidell she's called, and she has no memory of Fenner. I can't remember what species she is, just bear with me. Does it say? Is it going to say here? No, it doesn't say. But her species, whatever the hell she is, I first thought she was a Vulcan with her ears, but she's not. They've just got pointy-ish ears. Turns out Fenner is a telepathic projection of Nidell's subconscious when she's like stressed, and she can't help it. But while she's been Fenner, Nidell kind of goes into her almost like a coma, and it's killing her slowly. But anyway, they suss it all out in the end. And Fenner disappears and all that. Oh, now we see the bridge of the Prometheus. Why are other starship bridges crap? It was same on Redemption Part 2 when Data were given command of the Sutherland, which were a Nebula class ship. The bridge on that were rubbish, wasn't it? It should be like a Galaxy class bridge, shouldn't it? But there was these rubbish, pokey little rooms. Maybe it was a battle bridge. Anyway. We see this fella who's some sort of looter. He's like the ship's... We don't see the captain of this ship. If it does have a captain, I don't know. This, I think, is a lieutenant, junior grade, I think. But he's there. Yes, they're going to do this star, aren't they? They're going to do that star, reignite it. And he's got to fly a shuttle into it. We're going to remote pilot a shuttle into this star with the proton matter or whatever's on board, and it's going to reignite it. And he decides, does the scientist, to do it himself because he wants to release Nidell because her species mates for life. So he's going to release her from her obligations because he realises he's putting her under a lot of stress and she wants to go home. But anyway, so there we go. So that's what happens, and off she goes, and there we go. I think it's the first time he's fallen in love since his wife Jennifer died, and there we go. So yeah, whatever. Next, that's all I've got to say for that episode. Is whatever. What's next? Cisco in his office. Next episode is Sanctuary. Oh, we get another mention of the Dominion in this episode. This is the one where the Skria arrive from the Gamma Quadrant. A ship comes through. Don't ask me what the B story is, I can't remember. If there is one. No, it doesn't say. So here we go. The Skria are going to come through the wormhole, and there they are. And they're all the farmers that were displaced from their planet by the Dominion. They were conquered by another race, and that race were conquered by the Dominion. And they had to flee their home planet. There's like 3 million of them in ships. And these are the ones that find the wormhole. And they've got weird skin. They've got like eczema and the skin flakes and stuff. I think they're supposed to be analogous to, essentially, to gypsies. I think that's what they're trying to get across, because nobody wants them there. Anyway, they've got a prophecy that their legendary homeland or whatever is going to be, but they think it's Bajor. They said we'll move to Bajor, all 3 million of us, and we'll live in the northern plains and farm there. And the Bajorans are saying, yeah, but what if it all goes wrong? We can't take that risk. So that they're not allowing them to stay on Bajor. And the Federation finds a planet for them, but they don't want it. They want to move to Bajor, but anyway, that's it. Fights break out and all that. And but it's all sorted out at the end. They have to go to this other planet because obviously they can't stay on Bajor. Bajor says we've just come out of an occupation by Cardassia and we can't be looking after you as well. And said we can look after ourselves. Yeah, but what if something goes wrong? We'll feel obligated to step in. So that's why they don't allow them. And so there we go. And off they go to this other planet. There they are. Yeah. Anyway, and it's a matriarchal society. The women, and they've got like multiple husbands and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, it's off they go. There we go. Yeah, it's all right. It's not a bad episode. Again, that mentions the Dominion, so they're getting more and more mentions. So anyway, moving on. What's the next one? Rivals. I didn't like this one. This might be my least favourite episode of this season, which is sad because it's got Chris Sarandon in, who you may know from the original Fright Night and Child's Play. Really good actor, but not so good in this. He plays an El-Aurian in this. Oh, I've reached my target. My steps sitting here. It's got to waving my arms about. Anyway, where were we? Yeah, so there he is, Chris Sarandon. I don't know his name, the character name, I can't remember. Does it say? Martus Mazur is like a con man. He cons basically old women out of their pensions. But he's an El-Aurian, so he listens. We listen. Yeah, and he's good at it. And anyway, he ends up. He gets arrested because Odo puts him in the cell because he's got charges against him on, for being a con man and stuff. And while he's in, and Adam Gamer's here saying, good evening, Adam Gamer, welcome, mate. while he's in his cell, he's sharing it with another chap who has this device with him that essentially makes you lucky or unlucky. But the B story of this episode is Chief O'Brien and Dr. Bashir kind of finally becoming friends-ish. They're playing, I don't know, a form of tennis or whatever. But Dr. Bashir's really good at it, and Chief O'Brien isn't as good as he used to be. So it's all about their rivalry at playing that game. There's the fella that's got the device. And for some reason, it reminds me of Noddy Holder from Slade. I don't know why, he just does. Anyway, never mind. That's the device. And anyway, he dies, and he kind of claims it. And decides he replicates it and uses it. He says it's a game, and you've got to do, and it just lights up, and you either win or you lose. It just seems random. I don't really know how it's supposed to work. I don't think they've worked it out how it's supposed to work. But he cons this woman, Barbara Bosson, who you may know from Hill Street Blues and The Last Starfighter. She plays a Bajoran woman who were getting ready to leave the station. She was selling up her shop or whatever, and he convinces her to back him and use her shop and turn it into a casino or whatever, where he replicates these game things, and it starts affecting the rest of the station. Whatever it's doing, it's some sort of probability field it's giving out. A quantum probability field or something. So if people start having bad luck falling downstairs or stubbing their toes, stuff like that. Losing things. Just little things, but it all adds up, and they track it down to that. Obviously, his luck starts changing for the worse. Meanwhile, Quark set up a competition between these two, and he starts taking bets and all that stuff. But the probability field starts affecting O'Brien, and he becomes really good at the tennis thing. Behave yourself. Look, as soon as I start doing these, get you. Bloody cats. And he starts beating Dr. Bashir, who becomes rubbish because he starts having bad luck. But anyway, they track it down. They realise it's. Hang on, where are we? They realise it's. Where are we? It's in this the club. Let's say he's replicated these things, and Dax works out that it's giving off this improbability field or whatever. I don't know. It sounds from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, doesn't it? But they destroy him. They just shoot him and destroy him. And so there we go. And he ends up in the cells again. And yeah, there we go. That's the end. Crap. It is a crap episode. It is really. But yeah, definitely skip that one. I would. Anyway, next, which is this one. This is Quark selling desiccated body parts, isn't it, of some Ferengi person. This one's called The Alternate. A scientist, it's Dr. Mara, who used to study Odo. He comes to the station, he's found something in the Gamma Quadrant, and he thinks it's a changeling or part of a change or something that's related to Odo. But there he is. He's happy to see Odo. Obviously, Odo's not happy to see him because he prodded and poked him for years. But anyway, so we learn a little bit about Odo's life when he was first found. He was found in the Denarius Belt, which is where the wormhole is. And they didn't know he was sentient at first. They thought he was just a blob of goo. But then he started changing into things and eventually learned to speak and do all these shapes and stuff and all that. But he didn't like how we were treated, so he left. But anyway, so they go to this planet. Here we go. They find this. They go to this. Find these ruins. This and a map painting. Oh, she's been not. Oh, right. I'm going to let the cat out. Just bear with me. You're doing this a lot lately, aren't you? You, bloody cat. Anyway, where were we? Oh, yes, they have at these ruins, and there's like, I don't know, Thor's hammer or something there from Stargate. I don't know, but there's this thing there, and it's giving off some sort of field. So they just decide to, instead of just scanning it or whatever, they decide to take it back to the station for whatever reason. It seems a bit drastic, but anyway, something else, like an earthquake or something, and it all starts collapsing, and there we go. But they get back to the station safely. And they found this something, that's like a changeling or whatever. There it is. It's in there. But it gets out, escapes into the station. Look, smashes all this stuff up. And they've got to track it down, and it ends up it dies. They find it and it's dead. Yeah, it's dead. But stuff still continues to happen. So they think, oh, is there another one? There we go, see here. And Dr. Bashir gets it with a laser scalpel. I think he sees it. Does Dr. Mara? They're going to show it now, disappearing into the vents. But it turns out that it's actually Odo is this one, and he's kind of subconsciously lashing out, and because something's affecting him. I think it's that thing that they brought back, that Thor's hammer thing, whatever it's called, the obelisk that they brought back, doing something with him, and the Dr. Bashir cures him, because it just says at the end, Dr. Bashir sorted it out for you, and you won't be affected anymore. And that's how it ends. And it's a pointless bloody episode. Look, he's not looking well, is he? But they sort him out. That's it. Dr. Bashir's cured you. And there we go. And I see where they decide that they're going to keep in touch now. There you go. They always have a thing where they keep in touch with somebody, don't they? In Star Trek, in TNG, it was Data and I forgot his name now. Him that wanted to take him apart in Measure of a Man. He keeps in touch with him, doesn't he? Sends him letters and stuff. In this one, it's him and Dr. Mara, and in Enterprise, it's Dr. Phlox and another doctor, isn't it? Because they have like a couple of episodes where he's exchanging letters with him, isn't it? Anyway, whatever. It's a trope that they do. So anyway, so there we go. So that's I forgot what that one called. The alternate. Yeah. It's fine, I suppose. Bit pointless, but I think it's telling us that yes, it seems that changelings come from the Gamma Quadrant. Because we kind of got a mention of that last season, didn't we, as well? Because that fella had found something that looked like a part of a changeling, didn't it? In the Gamma Quadrant. So it's showing us that the changelings are from the Gamma Quadrant. That's what it's building towards, but not this season. Spoilers. Right, so next episode is Armageddon Game. Oh, this one. Yes, this one. O'Brien and Dr. Bashir are on this ship around this planet where these two races have been at war for like 100 years or whatever, centuries. And they found a way to neutralise this deadly biogenic weapon or whatever that almost wiped them all out, and they've come to the peaceful now. They've come to terms and they're at peace. But the Vastra Federation helped to destroy these weapons. So they do that. Dr. Bashir, being super clever, sorts all that out, and they destroy the last of these biogenic weapons or whatever they are. Does it say? It's biological weapon. It just says. So as they're doing that, there they are. And then they do that. The last one. In a minute, there go the saying. Look, we've nearly done. There go the last one, and just as they do that, some baddies come in and start shooting up the joint, like so. They kill everybody apart from them two, apart from Bashir and O'Brien, and they get away in like a shuttle or an escape pod or something down to the surface of the planet. But there's a twist because these two racers, whose name I can't remember, does it say? The Kelleran and the Talani. These two racers come together, and it was like a ruse, but they say that Bashir and O'Brien have been killed, and that they show video evidence of it. They say O'Brien triggered a defence system, and they were instantly vaporised. But they don't know that they've escaped down to the planet. But O'Brien got some of the biological weapon on his arm, so he's getting ill. Anyway, but Keiko, she's got to tell Keiko, O'Brien's dead, your husband, Miles, is dead, and she don't believe it. Because she looks at the video, she says, Miles is drinking coffee. So how do you know it's coffee? It's on the video. I did a spectrographic analysis, because she can on videos, apparently, I don't know. But anyway, it's the future. She says, Miles never drinks coffee in the afternoon, he always has tea. So he says, Miles he's not dead, that video's fake. So on that premise, they look further into it, and they end up going to the planet, getting into a battle and stuff like that, saving O'Brien and Bashir. They get a communications thing working. They get beamed out, and they escape in a runabout. And one of the runabouts gets destroyed. Don't ask me which one. Remember, Deep Space Nine has got 3 runabouts. So for a while, they only have 2. But they get another one from somewhere, and I can't remember where. I don't know if it mentions it. Anyway, one of the runabouts gets destroyed, but they escape in the other one. And leave them to their, whatever. Obviously, they'll be saying, you'll get no more help from the Federation, and all that. So anyway, so off they go, and obviously Bashir cures him. It's fine, and then Keiko comes and he's in the infirmary drinking coffee in the afternoon. And she says, "What are you drinking coffee for? You don't drink coffee in the afternoon." He says, "Yeah, of course I do." So there you go. The entire premise of her doubts were based around something that she got wrong. Anyway, so there we go. A decent episode, is that? A fun episode. Yeah, fine. I forgot what it's called again. Armageddon Game, yeah. Which is a title that's very original series-y, isn't it? But anyway, next up is Whispers. This is an intriguing one. Bear with me, because I can't remember how it ends. I can remember how it ends, but I can't remember how it ends. It makes sense to me. Yes, he is there. Okay, fair enough. We'll get there. Right, so Chief O'Brien is heading back to the station after something or other. People seem not to like him all of a sudden, and especially his daughter Molly. And he's noticed things are different. People acting differently around him, and he doesn't understand why. Apparently, he's been setting up these peace talks between. There's like a civil war being going on this planet, so he's been setting up these talks between the Federation and Cisco, and that they're going to mediate these peace talks between this government and these rebels in this civil war on this planet. And he's been helping with that. But then he starts thinking that some things are missing. There's conspiracies going on, and they're not telling him anything, and all that stuff. So he gets more and more paranoid and all that, and he ends up taking a runabout, and he's got to warn. I think they're in the Gamma Quadrant as well. Got to warn this other planet that the Federation's in league with the rebels. So anyway, in the end, he steals a runabout and goes to this other planet. Beams down. These are the, don't ask me what the aliens are called. I think these are the rebels. I think it turns out the rebels are kind of the good guys. And it turns out that this isn't O'Brien, because they go in there and they see the real O'Brien through that door. And this other O'Brien's a clone that was sent by the government or something to, I don't know, put the mockers on or whatever of the peace talks. What does it say? Oh, there we go. To reveal that the Paradan government abducted O'Brien, created a clone who believed he was the real O'Brien, but would assassinate the rebels at the peace talks. So that's what they were supposed to do. But they made him too well. I think he just dies, I think, or something. I don't actually know. Or does he kill himself? I can't actually remember what happens to him. Did he say in this? What happens? Oh no, one of the Paradans shoots him. And then he dies. He starts dying, and then the real O'Brien comes and he says, "Tell Keiko I love her." And I bet he didn't. I bet he didn't. But yeah, a good episode is this one. But it's O'Brien, you know. It's Colin Mean is always good, isn't he? But there we go. But yeah, interesting whispers. Like I say, it's kind of a little bit like that episode of Voyager where it turned out it wasn't our Voyager, it was the Voyager from the demon world, the demon planet. So this is similar. Obviously, he's not going to start melting, but we think he's O'Brien, and it turns out he's not O'Brien after all. He's a clone. So there we go. So that's that one. Whispers. Next. I want a runabout. Runabouts are cool. I want one to live in. Next up is Paradise. Yes, this is that one, isn't it? They're at a planet. I don't think they're in the Gamma Quadrant this time. I think they'll be somewhere on our side. And there's like some sort of field from this planet. Do they land? No, they don't land the runabout. They beam down, and it turns out there's some field that stops technology working. So I'd have thought, you know what? If there's this field, this dampening field, I won't beam down. Just to be on the safe side, I'd have landed the runabout rather than beam down. But anyway, whatever. They beam down, and then they get captured by fellas with bows and arrows. But they end up being friendly, and it turns out they're humans, and they've been there for a few years. And they set up a lovely colony. They're from a ship that crashed or whatever. They couldn't get off the planet because of the field. Does it tell us what it is? Does it tell us what the field is? Duonetic, that's it, a duonetic field. So anyway, so they're all living a lovely agrarian life. She's the leader. What's she called? Can't remember. Tell you in a minute. Alexis. Also got Julia Nixon in this episode. Though she doesn't have a massive part in it, but you know, she may know it from Rambo 2, and she's been in Babylon 5 a couple of times. I've got Eric Weiss in it as well. Don't know if we'll land on him, but he's played a TNG ensign. I think it was an ensign. Anyway, she's the leader of this community. Saying, you know, obviously you can't leave now, so you've got to work for your supper. So saying, yeah, fair enough, I'll work in the fields and all that. But they're suspicious. Oh, there she is, Julia Nixon. Obviously, the O'Brien and Cisco are still going to work to try and get away, but she's saying, no, you can't leave. And we also learn that she kind of rules with an iron fist, and if anybody disagrees with her or does something wrong, they put them in the cooler. They've got like this little box that they put people in for lengths of time. Anyway, meanwhile, Dax and Kira have gone to find out what's happened to them, and they find that the runabout that they were in has buggered off by itself. And anyway, they catch it in a tractor beam and bring it back to that planet. I think she's punishing Cisco because he did something wrong. Putting him in the cooler. It's like the Great Escape, isn't it? Anyway, O'Brien works out. She says, stop trying to escape. Do as I say, and you can live a happy life. And obviously, she tells him to take his uniform off, but he doesn't, and he staggers and gets back in the cooler. So O'Brien, he manages to fashion like a magnet, like a non-technological compass. That's it, a compass that points to the duonetic field. So he tracks it down, and there we go. There it is. He tracks it down, and he finds it's a machine that's buried under the ground, and we learned that she put it there. I forgot her name already. Alexis. She put it there. It was all her plan to get them to come to this planet and set up her own hippie commune with her in charge. But he shuts it down, and he comes back. There's Cisco, and there's Eric Weiss. Look, recognise him from TNG. He comes back and says, "Look, you don't have to stay here now. We can leave." But they all decide to stay for some reason because it's our home. They say. But she goes with her son, probably to answer charges or whatever in the Federation. So they beam them away, and there we go. And there we go. Yeah, there you go. The beam out. Oh, and it leaves. They all go back to their lives, and we see two kids there staring at where people used to be. So obviously they're gonna. The next generation of these people will want to leave that world, won't they? Anyway, I presume they'll get rid of the cooler as well. But yeah, it's all right. That episode, it's all right. Paradise. It turned out not to be paradise, which is usually the case, isn't it? Right, next. Another runabout. But they're starting a lot of runabouts, aren't they, in these episodes? Blimey. Right, what's the next one? Shadow play. Oh, that's this one, isn't it? Yes. Oh, I can yawn. Oh, excuse me. Oh, crikey. Right, Dax and Odo. There they are. They're doing something. I can't remember what. But they end up on this planet with this village. Your standard village set. We learn that the people of this village have started disappearing. Meanwhile, on the station, I can't remember what's happening. Something else is going on the station. Can't remember what. Hey, what's the B story? I'll tell you in a minute. Vedek Berail. Kira starts her romance with Vedek Berail. Oh right, yes, this is that one. Yes, Cisco wants Jake to have a job because I think he's 15 or something now. As his job, and it assigns him to hang about with Chief O'Brien so he can start learning about engineering and stuff like that. Because obviously Cisco expects Jake to join Starfleet, but by the end, Jake says, "I don't really want to join Starfleet. I want to do something else." So he's like, "What?" So I don't know. I want to work out what I want to do. So this is fair enough. So because he's a good dad and all that. But anyway, meanwhile, so that's the B story. Meanwhile, on this planet, we learn that people are disappearing. Was she in the TNG episode? is it imaginary friend or whatever? That like an alien thing, wasn't they, Kevin? Pretended to be her imaginary friend. I think it was her, wasn't it? Anyway, so it turns out, and it's what's his face? What's he? I can never remember his bloody name. Kenneth Toby. Kenneth Toby. We're in like a lot of 50s B movies, which I'm blanking on now. Oh god! But it was in The Howling as well. But it was in that lot of 50s B movies, and I can't remember which ones now. Never mind. Never mind. Anyway, he's the kind of the leader. Oh, excuse me. Of the village. Oh, cracky. Anyway, the work out what's gone on. It disappears out of her hand as that thing, that device. And there you go. And then this little girl, her arm disappears. It turns out they're all holograms. So that don't realise the holograms. Because people are born and live lives and die and all that stuff. Obviously, the hologram's been programmed that way. So they said people are disappearing because it's malfunctioning. So anyway, so Dax says basically they're going to turn it off and turn it back on again. Reverse the polarity of the neutron flow. But anyway, look there at it. Look, he's a holy man. Obviously, they're not Catholics then, are they? On the Beja. I'm joking. Anyway, so she turns it off. They put it to the people. So this is the only way we can fix it. And obviously, when we turn it back on again, hopefully, all the people that have disappeared will reappear, including her mother. So they say, okie dokie, and then they turn it off. But he's still there. All the village and everything, and all the people disappear, apart from him. It turns out he's the one that built it. I think his people were destroyed by the Dominion. I think they mentioned the Dominion again, do they? I could be wrong. Yes. Yes, the Dominion arrived on his home planet, and he came here and recreated his home in the form of holograms. And so there we go. But they don't know that. They don't know. They think he's one of them, and he wants it to stay that way. So he programmed it for all these people to have lives and stuff like that. And he loves his granddaughter, even though she's a hologram. It's really good acting, proper good old school acting. Where are we? Proper crying because I love her. That did set me off a bit, I must admit. And this is Jake telling his dad he don't want to join Starfleet. He says, yeah, fair enough. Right, so anyway, so she fixes it, then switches it back on again. Everybody reappears. He says, don't tell them I'm not a hologram. Okie dokie. So they all reappear and everybody's happy. There we go. And they bugger off and go back home. And she asks Odo about his face, and he says, I'm a shapeshifter. Pardon me, I'm just not good at faces. And she actually says to him, oh, you're the changeling. So that's what they call him, isn't it, in the Gamma Quadrant. Anyway, but one last thing, because she keeps asking him to change into something, but he keeps refusing. But before they leave, he does this. He changes into there we go. Changes into a spinning top for her, because she was playing with a spinning top earlier on. So there we go. So that pleases her, and they leave, and everybody's happy. Yay! A good episode. I liked that one. I liked Shadowplay. It was a good one. A nice one. It was a nice episode. I like nice episodes. A warm blanket one. Right, next. Oh, pressing pause then. Is this a Federation shuttle? I think it is, isn't it? It looks an old one, doesn't it? It is. It's from, it's got old, it's a Janolan one, isn't it? It's like the USS Janolan, isn't it? Whatever class that is. Anyway, whatever. Right, next. Playing God is this one. Oh, right, it's this one. Right, a Trill Initiate is coming to the station. that's been assigned to Jadzia Dax. She's going to help him or not get ready, for the trials or whatever to become a Trill host. But there he is. I think he's called Arjin. Is it Arjin? Let me check. Where are we? Yes, Arjin. And so he's nervous because the Dax Trill symbiont / host are notorious for washing out initiates. But anyway, meanwhile, is it? That might be later. Something comes back from the Gamma Quadrant, I think. We've pressed the wrong button. Oh, for Pete's sake. There we go. Yes, we were learning that she's a bit of, we get the impression that Dax is a bit of a shagger. But he's not impressed, is Arjin. Saying, she's not a very good Trill or a very good host. Anyway, they're off through the wormhole to check on something. And they end up bringing back, they're like, oh, look, he's there again, look, the bloody Klingon chef with his chocolate salty balls. I've missed it now, haven't I? They go through the wormhole, but they run into something. There's also an infestation of Cardassian voles, which look terrifying. But anyway, where are we? I'm going to show it. There we go. They run into something in the Gamma Quadrant, and it damages one of the nacelles on the runabout. But somehow they limp back because they've got something attached to it, and it turns out it's a proto-universe or something. And anyway, he's going to start chewing out Dax now, saying that she's a terrible Trill and doesn't know how she can wash people out when she's a terrible person and all that stuff. Blah blah blah. But anyway, so he thinks he's got no chance of being a host. But turns out she likes him and she's not going to wash him out and all that stuff. But they've got to keep doing something about this proto-universe because it keeps expanding and it'll end up destroying the station. And they let it out or whatever. I think they beam it out to somewhere. I think. Do they go through the wormhole? I honestly can't remember. Yes, they go back through the wormhole, but they've got to go through really slowly and avoid the whatever those Verteron particles or something. Does it say? Hang on, let me check. What does it say? Nodes or something. What does it say? Rush through the wormhole. It doesn't say. I think the Verteron nodes or something that's in the wormhole that you don't usually worry about when you're travelling through. But they've got to go really slowly so this proto-universe doesn't destroy them. So they've got to avoid these, which they do. And then. So they get into the Gamma Quadrant and release the proto-universe. That's the Gamma Quadrant's problem now. And there we go. And they go back, part on good terms. And there we go. It's fine. It's an okay episode. Not the best. But not the worst either. Pass the time. It'll do. Next. Did I press that? Do it again. There we go. Oh, is that a Cardassian freighter or something? Which one's this one? Profit and Loss is this one. It's the one with Quark. He's reunited with his former Cardassian lover, Natima Lang. This one. She's on there with two of her students. I think, did she work the Dabo tables or something? During the Cardassian occupation, her and Quark fell in love. Where is she? Yeah, there she is. Her and Quark fell in love, and but she left. She went back to Cardassia. She became like a professor or something, of politics. And she got two students with her who were super important, and they want to change Cardassian the Cardassian political system and take the power away from the military and put it back in the hands of the people and all that stuff. But obviously the military don't want them, so they're chasing them and all that. So they've got to find a way to keep them safe, etc. Blah blah blah. It's all fun and games. Quark's trying to find a way to protect what's his face, Garak. He does his card for some reason. I don't know why. He does like his Cardassian duty, and he's kind of dobs him in to the authorities as though he'll be allowed to go back home because he's been exiled, hasn't he? He'll be allowed to go back home if he hands them over to the Cardassians. Well, this Cardassian gull arrives. Anyway, it's obviously it doesn't work out, and Garak ends up helping him, but not for the reasons that you might think. But anyway, so there we go. And they end up escaping. He wants her to stay on the station with him, but obviously she can't. And off she pops, and there we go. See, well, the love of Quark's life, apparently. What about Pell? Thought she was. Never mind. Not a terrible episode, but another one I'd probably skip, to be completely honest. But, you know, as I'm going to say a lot in this, it passed the time. Anyway, next, moving on. What's next? Blood Oath. Oh, aye, right, here we go. So where we get Kor, Koloth and Kang. They arrive on the station. There he is. Hang on, missed him. Where is he? There he is. There's Kor. Yeah, I think it's Kor. Kor, played by John Colicos. Obviously, Klingons we've seen in the original series, played by the same actors, but they look a bit different. It's obviously the virus or whatever, retrovirus, has worn off on them. Don't explain it. But Kor's bit is a Dakar master or something, but he's a bit of a lush, and he likes his drinks. And then we see there he is, Kor, and then we see Koloth. He arrives on the station as well. There he is, played by William Campbell, who also played Squire of Gothos, Trelane. Pardon me. But he arrives, and he's not impressed with what Kor's been up to, because Odo's got him in the cells. Essentially, he's in the drunk tank. And Koloth's not impressed. Says, you can keep him, in that weird voice that William Campbell has. Does it show it? Hang on, let's have a look. We'll have a listen. His voice does me head in. He's a great actor and stuff. It's just the way he speaks does me head in. It's like he's got a bit of a blocked nose.
Keep him.
Don't trust me to pick a bit.
Yourself and on purpose. I do not go into battle with one whose honor is washed away.
Whose honor is washed away. Anyway, whatever. But anyway, it turns out they're here for a reason, because there we go. Kang's there as well, played by why am I blanking on Kang's name? One of my favourite actors. It's annoying when I can't really remember her name. Michael Ansara, of course, Michael Ansara. Played by Michael Ansara. Oh, we see again, don't we, in, I think. Yes, we do see him again in Voyager, don't we? The flashback episode of Voyager. I think it's Kang, isn't it? Yeah, I think sure it is. Anyway, so it turns out they're old friends of Curzon Dax. So Jadzia Dax introduces herself. So, I am Dax, but not Curzon. But when she was Curzon Dax, she made a blood oath with them that they'd go and find the albino, or as we'd say in the UK, the albino, who's this bad guy. I'm not sure what species he is. Sometimes he looks a bit like a Klingon, but then other times he doesn't. So I don't know. Does it say? I don't think it does. Anyway, whatever. He's an enemy of these, and he killed their firstborn sons, including Kang's firstborn son, who Curzon Dax was the godfather of, and he were named after him, I think. Or maybe not, but whatever. But Kang tells Dax that, obviously you're not Curzon Dax, and obviously the blood oath. You do not have any obligation to us. So, but Jadzia thinks she does, so she agrees to go with them. So they head out and have a battle and all that stuff to get the albino and die honourable deaths and all that stuff. And so they get there, and he's obviously got. It turns out that it was Kang that's arranged this. The albino contacted him. Albino contacted him. Said we were fed up of hiding from him, so they were going to give him one last chance to basically go out in a blaze of glory, die honourably. Today is a good day to die, and all that stuff. So they get into his compound and they fight all the terribly outfitted henchmen. They're the albino. That's not him. There he is. He's going to turn round. There we go. So I'm not sure what species he is. Maybe it says on Memory Alpha. I don't know. I'm going to look it up. DS9, the albino. No, I don't know what species. It says unknown. So he's an infamous criminal. Fair enough. Don't know what species he is. Not even Memory Alpha knows. Rubbish. Anywho, there he is. They get into his compound, fight through his henchmen and all that. Have a big old fight. Koloth gets killed. Kang fights the albino at the top of these stairs, and he gets killed as well, but not before he gets the killing blow on the albino. There we go. Then Kang dies, so there's just Kor left. But honour has been satisfied and all that stuff, and they can go to Sto-vo-kor and all that malarkey. And there's just Kor left, and off they go, and that's how the episode ends. Look, she comes back on duty, a changed woman. You can see in her eyes, she's a changed woman. She's been in battle, proper battle, hand-to-hand stuff. And so there we go. That's it. And we'll see Kor again in a future season, won't we? We will see him again. A good episode, that one. A good one. Nice to see old characters come back. They were like 100-year-old Klingons, 150-year-old Klingons, whatever. But still fighting away, even though they're old fogies. Bless them. Next. Right, which is this? Was this... right, we're up to the Maquis, parts 1 and 2, a two-parter. Right, so this is the one with the colonies. Remember in TNG, where the Federation and the Cardassians had a treaty, and they built had a demilitarised zone between the Federation and Cardassia, a bit like a neutral zone, but they call it a demilitarised zone. And some planets ended up being controlled by Cardassia, some planets ended up being controlled by the Federation, and some have been switched around. And some of the Federation colonists didn't want to move, so they've got to put up with Cardassian rule, and vice versa. But obviously, Cardassians being the baddies, obviously it doesn't work out, and some of the human or Federation colonists are fighting back against them, and that's where we get the Maquis. So we see that there's a Cardassian freighter docked at the station, and we see that fella working there, and turns out he's put something in on this freighter, and it's gonna blow up. Off it goes. It sets off. They're talking about she's been shagging again, basically. Been on a date with somebody, and the freighter's blown up. In a minute. There we go. Off it goes and blows up. Didn't take the upper pylon with it like on my model. But anyway, it blows up. So there's an investigation as to what happened. They think it might have been an accident, but it turns out it wasn't. Like some sort of force field or whatever, an implosion device or whatever had been attached to the ship and caused an explosion. Anyway, here comes Cal Hudson, who's a friend of Ben's. He's also a commander. He's been assigned as like the Federation liaison to the colonies in the demilitarised zone. But anyway, so they've got to sort something out. Meanwhile, a dishy Vulcan, there she is, called, I don't know, Sakana or something, I can't really remember. Sakona. She wants to buy weapons off Quark. That's what she wants to do, and she's going to pay, handsomely for him. Anyway, meanwhile, this is the fella that was dressed in a Starfleet uniform who put that, essentially a bomb on that Cardassian ship. He gets got by these two. There you go. Gets got by those. They drag him off. They work for the Cardassians. Anyway, so they've got to work out what's going to happen with the Federation colonists in the neutral zone. So they're going to a planet that's not in the neutral zone, the demilitarised zone. So they've got to go and sort it all out, or try to, but it's not that easy. And the Federation colonists are blaming the Cardassians for arming the Cardassian colonists, and vice versa. Anyway, but it turns out that Cal is working for the Maquis, with they're given a name. They take responsibility for blowing up that ship, and they call themselves the Maquis, which what the French, or some of the French resistance fighters in World War II were called. But so they've got to go and deal with that and stop the Maquis from doing their stuff. And then we see Cal's part of it. Anyway, there's Admiral Nechayev causing a bother. Sisko doesn't tell her that Commander Hudson has defected, or because he's left Starfleet now. He's done a Chakotay, basically. Anyway, so they've got to suss out what to do, and they find out where they kidnapped Gul Dukat, but they haven't got the stomach for a good interrogation, and Sisko rescues him, and all that. They find the ship that's been supplying the weapons to the Cardassians, blah blah blah, and they end up getting into a fight with Maquis raiders. There we go, pew pews and all that stuff. And it ends in kind of a stalemate. He's not prepared to kill his friend, much to Gul Dukat's chagrin. But it's the beginning of the Maquis thing, which kind of gets overshadowed by the Dominion War that's coming. They are mentioned again. Obviously, we have Commander. I forgot his name now. Him from Krull. We've got him coming later, haven't we? Who's connected to the Maquis? But anyway, that's by the by. So there we go. Anyway, so that a good two-parter that sets the scene for stuff to come. Right. So next up, we're getting there. Right. What's next? The Wire is next. This one's about Garak. So we learn quite a bit about Garak, including his first name. We learn his first name's Elim in this, but he doesn't tell us it. He keeps telling us he had a friend called Elim and all that stuff. But we learn he's got a wire in his brain, or a piece of technology in his brain that's essentially killing him. But only in the sense that it makes him not feel pain, because him being on exile to Deep Space Nine is torture to him, and he uses this it releases endorphins and makes him feel good, and it was put there by the Obsidian Order, and I think that's the first time the Obsidian Order is mentioned. But anyway, so this basically he's got to shut it down, this thing in his head. Because he could control it, he had a device, to switch it on and off, but he ended up leaving it switched on, and that's what's caused the problems. So he's basically got to go through withdrawal, cold turkey. So we see all that, and obviously it is horrible to Dr. Bashir, calling him all sorts of names, but they get through it in the end, and he goes to see what's his face? Hang on, has he done it already? No. He goes to see a Nabrantane, who we'll learn later, spoilers, is Garak's dad. Maybe. Probably. There he is, goes to see him. Used to be the leader of the Obsidian Order. Kind of still is, but not really. It's a bit confusing. He tells him how to extract or shut down or whatever that device. So there we go. And so he saves him, and everything's back to normal, and blah blah blah. So there we go. Yeah, a good episode, an interesting one. I'm going to sneeze. Oh dear. Oh, excuse me. A decent episode, because it's Garak. Everybody likes Garak, don't they? And no, he's not gay, despite what Andrew Robinson says. Yeah, decent one that. Next. What's next? Another runabout. I think more episodes in season 2 have started on a runabout than have started on the station. Anyway, what's next? Crossover. I'm not a huge fan of mirror universe stories. I'm not. I don't know why. But anyway, Bashir. Why can I never remember his name? Bashir and Kira are heading back to the station from the Gamma Quadrant, and something happens. They get some plasma leak or something in their engines or in a cell, and as they're going through the wormhole, which causes a freaky thing to answer. Flash happens. What was that? And they get through the wormhole, and the station's not there. They do a scan. It's in orbit around Beja. I think, what's going on? And then a Klingon ship appears, and then these Klingons beam on board, and they say, "Oh, sorry, Intendant, didn't know you were here." I said, "What are you talking about?" Turns out they're in the mirror universe, and obviously Deep Space Nine is still Terok, but it's ruled by the Alliance. The Terran Empire is no more. It was defeated. They do mention the episode from the original series. They do mention Kirk and Spock and all that, and what happened nearly 100 years earlier. But obviously, they've all got their mirror counterparts, and it kind of annoys me. They just all happen to be there, all the main cast. So that's it. Kira is the Intendant, who's she hams it up in these episodes, and Garak's a baddie, and anyway, so she's all fascinated by it, and she's slinking about in her tight clothes and stuff, and blah blah blah, whatever. But they've also got to find a way off. Odo is still chief of security or whatever. The Alliance is, the Klingons and the Cardassians and the Bajorans and stuff. Turns out that Quark's a good guy in the mirror universe. He's been helping Terran prisoners escape and pays for it with his life. O'Brien, who's nicknamed Smiley, is a Terran, but not an evil one. I thought everybody were evil in the Mirror Universe, but not O'Brien. As you can see, he's got the Terran Empire, whatever, logo. It's not in reverse, Star Trek Discovery. Because they thought, because it's called the Mirror Universe, everything's got to be the mirror image. Because they're stupid. Anyway, whatever. So he's going to help Bashir escape. Cisco is a bit of a baddie. He's kind of a Han Solo type, a bit of a pirate. But he'll work for whoever's paying. Is that Kira in a bath of milk with Vulcan attendants? Anyway. So they escape with the help of Cisco. I think we're seeing him in TNG. Was he the captain of the Klingon ship in The Chase? I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know if it was or not. Let's have a look. See if it says his name. See if we can find his name. It just seems familiar. It might not be. Bloody sir. Oh, does it? Telok. I will look it up. Who is it? John Cothran Jr. Bear with me. Did it? Memory Alpha. There he is. Who's he played? Who has he played? Star Trek appearances. Yes, it is him. Played Nudak in The Chase, and in this one he plays Telok. Why can't he play Nudak in this? Why make him a different character? Anyway, he was also in Enterprise. He played Gralik Dur, a Zindiar Boreal in Enterprise. Anyway, thought it looked familiar. Anywho, they all escape with the help of Cisco, and I think they kill Odo. I think Bashir kills Odo. I can't remember how. There's Odo. How does he kill him? I don't know. I think I blinked and missed it. Have a look. Something going on there. Stuff's blowing up. How does he kill Odo? Where's Odo gone? There he is. Oh, he just shot. Oh, he's blown him up. How did I miss that? He blew up Odo. Cool. Anyway, right. So they all escape and they get back. They want to try and use transporters to get back, but we learn, because that's how it happened in the original series, a transporter accident that did the crossover. They want to use a transporter to get back to their universe, but we learned that the transporters in the Mirror Universe were changed after that, so that couldn't happen. So they've got to get back in their runabout and go back through the wormhole. So that's what they do with the help of Cisco and his motley crew, who now become like the Resistance or the Rebellion, the Terran Rebellion. So off they go, back through the wormhole, and everything's lovely. And they say, "Where have you been?" Cisco says, and they say, "Why are you dressed like that? And why are you all mucky? What's been going on?" They'll tell them. They'll file a report. But they're home and everything's lovely. It's all right. But I'm not a huge fan of Mirror Universe episodes. And they have too many of them in Deep Space Nine for my liking. But anyway. Anyway, next. Which is this one? Is this the one, the Collaborator? Yes, this is the Collaborator. This is one about Vedek Berail. They're getting ready, kind of topical at the moment, because they're getting ready to vote for a new Kai, much like over in the Vatican. They're getting ready to elect a new Pope, aren't they? So on Bajor, they're getting ready to elect a new Kai, and Vedek Berail is one of the front runners to become the new Kai, because remember, Kai Opaka's stuck on that planet somewhere. Probably just been left there and ignored, much like Khan was on SETI Alpha 5. But I think the two front runners are Vedek Win and Vedek Berail. And here he is, as we know, because it looks all funky here, so we're thinking, oh, it's either a dream or he's having an orb vision. It turns out he's having an orb vision, and he sees a Vedek hanging. No, it's not a Vedek. It's I forgot what they call them now. The next one down from a Vedek. Sees Kira. Sees her. And says, "Oh, look, it's I forgot what they call them. Hang on, I'll have to check. I'll have to check." Badum 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 bum 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 rum tum 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 tum. Prylar, that's it. Prylar Beck. So there must be like a Prylar must be like, I don't know, just a regular priest, and a Vedek is like a cardinal. I suppose the car is like the Pope. You know. Anyway, so that's Prylar Beck. I don't know if we've seen him before. I don't think we have, but Berail knows him. There we go. We see there what an orb experience he's had. So it's like, ooh, so off he goes to Deep Space Nine to get to the bottom of it. It's still Sidigel for deal. Yes. Anyway, so he's gone to see Kira. So while he's there, she's in full intendant mode. Even her hair reminds me of the intendant, and she's she's a very attractive lady. Look, she's been all sexy. Look, but not acting like the Major. But maybe that's because she's with him. But anyway, she arrives. Does not Kai Win? I keep calling her Kai Win. Vedek Win, pretending to be all nicey. You know, we all see through her, but obviously others don't. Anyway, this fella arrives on the station. What's his name? Can't remember. I'll tell you in a minute. Cubus. He arrives and he recognises him. Oh, look, you're Cubus. You were a collaborator. You worked for the Cardassians. Turned out you were a secretary or something. Secretary Cubus. You worked for the Bajoran government that were the puppet government during the occupation. And obviously he sent Bajorans off to their deaths and stuff like that. And he's supposed to be in exile on Cardassia. But he wants to come home. But they won't let him. Basically, and so he gets arrested. We see another orb vision. We see that he's become Kai. They give him we see Kaya Packer, but it's obviously not. You know, it's an orb vision. They give him a box that's got a snake in it, and then the snake turns into a noose, and then so he's like wondering what's going on here. Anyway, the upshot of it is. Berail gets accused of being a collaborator, the collaborator of the title, gets accused of being a collaborator, and he doesn't fight it. And I think she knows, I think she's kind of behind Vedek Berail being, you know, his reputation's besmirched. I think she's all behind that, because she wants to be Kai. So I think she's kind of behind it all. It's just that she just happens to be on the station when he arrives. But Vedek Berail kind of takes responsibility for it, for what happened. There was something that happened during the occupation, and the Cardassians were tipped off to something and killed loads of people. Vedek Berail takes responsibility for it, but it turns out it wasn't him. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what the upshot of it was. Let me check. Yes, that was it. It wasn't Berail that was the collaborator. It turned out with Kaya Packer, but she'd done it to save her son's life. So obviously didn't even know she had a son. but she did it for that. But she's no longer around, and he's upholding Cleopatra's honour. So he pulls out of being, of his candidacy of being the Kai, and that's how she ends up being the Kai. But I don't know if we see that in this episode. Oh, how we do. She's the new Kai. Unfortunately. Anyway. But they're still going to be, snogging and all that stuff. Anyway, right, there we go. Look. There you go. They're still in love. And there we go. It's a good episode, is that one. Like I said, more Bajoran politics and shenanigans going on and doing the honourable thing and sacrificing yourself for another's reputation, blah, blah, blah. And obviously, Win becoming the Kai. We'll see more of her. This is the best baddies going. So there we go. That's the collaborator. Next, we're getting there. We're nearly done. Next up is which one? Oh, I've only 2 more to go now. Tribunal, another O'Brien episode. Chief O'Brien's going on holiday. Him and Keiko are going on. Don't know where they're going, but they're going on holiday somewhere. Probably Riser. Don't know. It doesn't tell us. I don't think it does. But they're going on holiday. Molly's staying with the Petersons, but they're going on holiday. And I think they're just giving them a runabout. They just hand out these runabouts willy-nilly, don't they? Don't they have any other shuttles as well as the runabouts? You think they'd have other shuttles as well, wouldn't you? But we never see them. But before he sets off, he bumps into this fella called Boone. He says, "Oh, it's Miles O'Brien. We served together on the Rutledge, and he were there at Setlick 3 and all that stuff." He says, "Oh, yeah, well, I've got to go. We'll catch up later when I get back." He says, "All right." But then we see that he recorded O'Brien's voice and used it to get into a weapon storage locker because he was stealing photon warheads. Not torpedoes, as the warheads. Anyway, they're heading to wherever they're going on holiday in the runabout. I don't know what she's feeding him. I don't know what the hell she's giving him, but I suppose she's Japanese, isn't she? So it'll be bloody insects or something horrible, or fish heads. I don't know, but anyway. Right, so a Cardassian ship appears with Gullavec, and they arrest O'Brien and for crimes against the Cardassian people. They must take Keiko back to Deep Space Nine. Apparently, in the hold of the runabout were the photon warheads that Boone stole. He transported them over. O'Brien gets the Picard treatment from Chain of Command. We've got to rip out one of his teeth and all that stuff. But anyway, he's going to trial, but it's just a show trial because Cardassian trials are always the same. You only go to trial if you're found guilty, and then the trial just shows how you've been found guilty. So anyway, but Keiko is allowed to go to the trial, and Odo is allowed to go as well because he's an officer of the court. So he's allowed to go as an advisor to the accused. Meanwhile, we meet, this is kind of his lawyer. Who's a famous actor, and I've forgotten. I've forgotten his name. Fritz Weaver, that's it, Fritz Weaver. Who's been in loads of stuff, and I'm blanking as usual, but whatever. Fritz Weaver as Kovat. He's kind of the defence lawyer, even though he isn't. He's basically just there to just pander to the judge. But think of the children, sir. That's what he says a lot. Anyway, so they're going to get to the bottom of it. It's not a lost cause by any stretch of the imagination. On Deep Space Nine, to suss out what's going on. We learn that Boone isn't Boone, and Boone were killed. He were captured at Setlick 3 and replaced by a Cardassian who'd been altered to look like Boone. So he's not even human. So there we go. So they bring that well, they don't say anything. They just bring him into the court at the end. Go through all this stuff in the courtroom where it's just a show trial, a kangaroo court. He keeps saying, I haven't done anything. And we learn that about. Well, we don't learn them because we already know about it that he's not a fan of the Cardassians. Later on the show that he hates the bloody Cardies. But anyway, but then Cisco just walks in. Don't know how, he just does. With they're going to show it. There we go. There he is. Just bear with me. There he is. Just walks in with Boone. There we go. And obviously the Cardassians know who he is, presumably. So the judge just says, well, anyway, so you are guilty, but in lieu of matters and for fostering Federation Cardassian goodwill, I will release you into the custody of your commander, and we'll leave it at that. So he can go home. And he says, what's happened? He says, you've won. He says, they'll kill me. Anyway, so they take him home. But he says, I can't wait to get back to work. And Cisco says, oh no, you're still heading on holiday. So there we go. Good episode, that. Good episode. Really enjoyed that one. Think of the children, sir. Fritz Weaver's amazing. Right, and off we go. The final episode of Season 2, The Gem Hadar. Dun dun dun. Easily the best episode of Season 2. Jake Sisko has got his science project. He's growing some Bajoran plants for his science project. He's a bit low tech. I'm a low tech kind of guy, Dad. But he says, why don't we go for your science project for school? Why don't we go to the Gamma Quadrant and do a planetary survey? Say, cool. So that's what they're going to do. They end up dragging Nog along and Quark and all that. So off they go to the Gamma Quadrant. There you go. They find a planet. I don't know if it's named. But there's no big animals. There's some insects and some fish in the sea, but everything else is plants. There's no big predators, so it's a lovely place to stay, apart from the bugs that get into everything. Quark's not having a good time because he's allergic to nature. But anyway, turns out this is where we meet. Oh, here we go. This is where we meet Eris, who is a Vorta, although we don't know that yet. I don't think we're told her species in this, but we're told where she's from, but they don't say Vorta or whatever. See if it says in here what her planet's called. Doesn't say. Typical. Doesn't say. Anyway, never mind. So she arrives and she's got some weird telekinetic power. I'm going to show it. Oh, no. There we go. That does that, and we never see a Vorta do this again. But never mind. But then the Gem Hadar appear in a minute. Hang on, where are they? There they are. Come on, show us. Oh, for Pete's sake. So we get a first look at there we are, the Gem Hadar. There they are. Notice no tube for they call it Ketracel White. Because obviously they hadn't thought of that yet. But anyway. Oh, there's a black tube there, isn't there? Anyway, whatever. So they get captured by the Gem Hadar. We think Eris is a goodie. She's not, by the way. So they're talking to her. We learn that her planet was taken over by the Dominion. The Gem Hadar are the soldiers of the Dominion, etc. They put a collar around Eris's neck to stop her using her telekinetic powers. Quark manages to get it off. and she helps them escape. Meanwhile, Nog and Jake beam back up to the runabout and manually fly back to the wormhole. Meanwhile, the Jem'Hadar head through the wormhole and warn the people, warn Kira that the Dominion's fed up of people coming through the wormhole and violating their territory. We learn that they've destroyed some ships and from our side, and they've wiped out the Bajoran colony that were in the Gamma Quadrant. So you are warned and all that. So he beams away. So anyway, the Odyssey arrives in a minute. The Odyssey arrives. It's a Galaxy-class starship under the command of Captain Keogh, played by, I forgot, is it Richard Fudge? Is it? I forgot that right. No, I'm wrong. Who the hell? What did I say that for? Alan Oppenheimer. Why did I say Richard Fudge? Who the hell's he? I don't know. Alan Oppenheimer plays Captain Keogh of the Odyssey. So they're ordered to go through, find Cisco, bring him back, and obviously work out what the threat the Dominion pose. And they said, we're going with you with our little runabout. So they've got 3 runabouts to go with as well. And Chief O'Brien's arming them to the teeth. So anyway, off they go. Through the wormhole. Oh my, they find Nog and Jake. Chief O'Brien beams over and sorts them out. Here comes the Odyssey. And the Jem'Hadar attack immediately. His first officer. Hang on, I'm going to do it here. Oh, here we go. His first officer's like doing it in his sleep.
Go ahead, Odyssey. Detecting 3 incoming ships in attack.
Hang on.
Shields up, going to red alert.
Shields up, going to red alert. Put a bit of, faster with more intensity, mate. Anyway, so we get a big battle. The Jem'Hadar makes short work of the Odyssey. The weapons go straight through the Odyssey shields. They get beamed out in the nick of time. There we go. So they decide they're going to head back. They're retreating now because they're getting their asses kicked. But somehow, none of the runabouts get destroyed. But yet, a Galaxy-class starship, the runabouts can hold up better than a Galaxy-class starship, which is a bit weird. But anyway, as the Odyssey's getting a pounding, but they're retreating back to the wormhole. But the Jem'Hadar, there you go, they're retreating. The Jem'Hadar do a suicide run, a kamikaze run. Here it is, onto the Odyssey. Kaboom! And it just blows up like that. Boom! I wonder if we've seen that in another episode, probably TNG. We will have done, won't we? So wow! Blew that up. By the way, they did mention earlier that, so it wasn't a full crew. Well, they'd left the families and stuff on Deep Space Nine, so there'll be a lot of sad people on Deep Space Nine, isn't there? Anyway, so they get back. They know Quark says, Commander, I've got something to tell you about this locking mechanism. That's all it is. It's just a lock. There isn't anything in it to suppress her telekinetic abilities. So they confront her, and she says, "Okay, you've sussed me out," and she just beams out, but we don't know where to. Does she beam into space? Does she beam through the wormhole? I've no idea, but she just beams out. They're going to arrest her. She goes, "Oh, you have no idea what you're getting into." She beams out like that. And so they don't know where she's gone. She says, "Well, we'll see her again," but we never do. But there we go. And that could have been a to be continued. Because he says, when the Dominion come through the wormhole, we'll be here. This will be where the first battle takes place and all that. Just to end on a cliff-hanging note. And there we go. That's the end of Season 2 of Deep Space Nine. not a bad season. Not a bad. There are some episodes that they're not terrible, but I would skip over them. But still worth a watch. But there's some really good ones in, particularly the Gem Hadar, which is easily the best episode in my opinion. But there we go. So yeah, a decent fist of a season. But not as good as what is to come. Not as good as what is to come. So there, we'll leave it there. So next time we'll do season 3, when kind of the Dominion War doesn't really kick off, but it starts going in that direction. I think Cisco gets his promotion to captain, doesn't he, at the end of season 3? I do believe. But anyway, but there we go. And this is where we're introduced to the USS Defiant, aren't we, in season 3? So that's to look forward to for next time, whenever that may be. I don't know, but we'll do that next time. Right, so we'll leave it there. We will leave it there. Thanks, Adam Gamer, for popping in, saying good evening. But yeah, we will leave it there. So thanks for watching, and wherever you are, look after each other. I'm starting my stuff out. Look after each other, and until next time, I'll say there.